Welcome to the Work Camping with Why Not Wander podcast.
Today we have an awesome couple on, John and Tauni. They are with the Roze Family Wanders.
Yes, and when I found them, I told Matt, we have to have this couple on. They ran away with the circus with their kids. And they have faced so many challenges, but their example and just the way that they travel with their kids is something that we just had to bring you guys. All right, so let's start with you guys telling us your story.
I feel like this is our first real work camping job, but our second work camping job. Mm-hmm. We've been RVing since 2021. The market just went crazy, and the world was a little crazy, and it was just an opportunity, I think, to sell everything because people were just at that time way overbidding on homes in Texas.
We never would have got the amount that we got any other time, so we figured it was a good time to sell and give the RV thing a try. And we figured we'd do it for a year and just see how it went. And we're still doing it.
So then did you buy a house in Florida after that?
We kind of wandered around with no idea what we were doing for like 6 months. And I was still doing photography. He got his insurance adjuster's license. And right when he got that, he got offered a job in Florida to project manage at a roofing company. And we're like, oh, okay, let's go do that. So we went down there, and it was just started getting really stressful trying to find somewhere to park the RV in Florida, like where he was project managing.
It was right after, I believe, Hurricane Irma had hit.
No,
Hurricane Ian had hit Fort Myers. So.
I think it was like a year and a half into RVing. We bought our house in Florida. And Fort Myers. Mm-hmm. And we parked the RV like across the front yard, and we just kind of gutted the house and started fixing up while he was working. Well. And that job moved back to Jacksonville, but we weren't finished with the house, so we stayed and kept fixing up the house. We lived in the house for maybe like 5 months, maybe less, and then we moved back into the RV. Mm-hmm. We thought we were done with RV life, and then it didn't sell. And then the day we decided to move back into the RV, someone offered to buy
the RV.
But we decided to keep it.
Yeah. So we got back in the RV, started traveling again. She got us I guess kind of a work camping job with a traveling petting zoo is what it was. Yeah. It was a lot of fun. We went all over. I mean, we met them in Montana. So we got to do the whole
Florida.
Yeah, so we went from South Florida to Montana, got to do the whole Yellowstone thing.
That's how I found you guys. And I was telling him from the start, I was like, there's this family and they ran away with the circus. That's what I just like.
Pretty much.
We did. It was really funny telling our family. They were like, wait, what?
It really was pretty much like a circus, man. It was that's kind of what I felt like.
It was so fun to watch, but your kids also got to be involved, right?
They did.
So that was probably like, I don't know. It was probably one of the hardest things we've ever done. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But it was, I don't know. When I look back, it's probably one of like my favorite memories with the kids.
Yeah.
Like being able to work with the animals, and then
that was like a big reason why we decided to do it. Because they said that the kids could work alongside with us, and I don't know. We figured that'd probably be like one of the coolest things that they got to do as kids, you know.
Absolutely, like lifetime memories. That's very, very cool. How did you find it? You just met them in person?
No, so actually, during this time, like of us fixing our house up on and off, we would move into the RV on and off, and his remodel stuff was kind of coming to an end. We had gone back to Arizona in May to visit family, and I saw this ad like on the Work Campers Facebook pop-up that said they were looking for mostly single strong men to because it was like a lot of hard work.
Yeah, it was very laborious.
It was very laborious to work with this. And I said, hey, we're a family. Would you consider? And she called me and was like, yeah, I mean, back in the 90s, I did it with kids. And so I was like, okay. And so literally we had 3 weeks and we completely got our house officially ready to be gone. We didn't really know what to expect.
We had no idea. We had no idea going into it what we were even going to be doing as far as the job went.
I just kind of pictured in my head what I would be doing, which was not what we were doing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we were full on taking care of all the animals. So like we had close to probably 60 animals in total, from goats, sheep, pigs,
4 cows,
mini horse, mini donkey.
ducks,
So
geese.
yeah, ducks and geese, all that stuff. So we were full on just taking care of those. There was wash days where we had to wash every single
That
one
was
of the
our
animals.
first day. We worked camp. Our
Yeah.
very first day was washing.
Yeah.
And we showed up to Montana after driving forever. And just meet everyone. She's like, okay, today's wash day. And we're like, okay. 12 hours of
just washing animals.
Sheep. And we both, like, that night were like, what did we do?
Yeah.
What did we get ourselves into?
How long was that job?
5-month period, and it was fast paced. So we just traveled around to, mostly it was different fairs. There were a couple private events that we did for like private parties and stuff, but it was mostly fairgrounds. And I don't think we were in one fair longer than a week, right?
Maybe like 10 days.
Maybe 10 days was our longest stay, and then it was on to the next one.
For the most part, like if you think of it, we were like part of the 4-H side more. Like we went in a caravan, and there was another couple that traveled with us, and then the owner, and then someone who traveled with her, and we would all follow each other. But we're 44 feet. Everyone else had like
smaller vans,
very
or
small,
just a small bumper pool.
So sometimes we'd get stuck like on a different section because we didn't fit.
Did they pay for all the campgrounds?
So she paid for the campgrounds and our gas.
Yeah.
And
campground. She would
cook for us a lot.
Yeah. She was an awesome cook.
Yeah, I absolutely loved her. It was an amazing, cool experience. It was just a hard experience with this rig.
Yeah.
We'd load up the animals, take us like 6 hours. We have to break down all their cage, get them in their trailer, then come back, load up our RV, tow our RV.
And then it was like
get to the campground.
5-hour drive.
To 5 to 10 hour, depending what they wanted to pull. Have to set up the whole pen for all the animals, care for the animals, then come back and set up our rig. Those days were
tough.
They were tough for us.
What was like the circuit? Like, where did you travel to?
From Montana, we went back down to Wyoming, and then
Washington. We were on like the Canadian-Washington border.
All
it was
the way
really
in
pretty.
North Washington, right on the border. And then from Washington, we went to Salem, Oregon, and then from Salem, Oregon,
we laid over, I think, in Idaho.
Yeah, I think we just made our way all the way back to New York for one of our last events.
It was like right outside of New York City.
It was like a huge private event there that they had been doing it for a while. It was really cool up there because we were like in upstate New York, and it was beautiful.
That was a big bucket list for our son too, to see.
Yeah, we got to go to New York City and everything,
for the Ninja Turtles.
Take our son there. So that was cool.
So how old are your kids?
Our son Oakley is 8, and our daughter Indy is 4.
That is so fun. I just think we talk all the time. If we could go back, like that would be such a fun way to raise your kids.
Yeah.
So I got to ask, I mean, what did you do pre-RV life in Texas?
I worked for T-Mobile for like 10 years. I worked all over with them as a tech. Then I worked in retail, piloted what they call as their team of experts. It's just like a customer service team mixed with their tech team, all that stuff. But I worked with them for 10 years, and she was mainly doing photography.
He didn't enjoy his job, and it was hard to do a career move at that time because of our overhead with our house and our cars. And so that was a big push too, to try RV. It would give him the opportunity to
find a new career, find new work, figure out what I wanted to do or what we wanted to do.
So did you already own the RV?
We had never even been in an RV. We had never driven an RV. We didn't even know if our house was going to sell.
Yeah.
People thought we were so crazy. We just stopped talking about it and just were like, if it happens, it happens. I don't know. We sold the house and found this RV in
Colorado, actually. I met him in Albuquerque. We had looked at a couple other of these same exact models in Texas, but the price difference was like $20,000, so I figured I'd drive as far as we needed to go get it. So the guy met me in Albuquerque. I had never pulled anything before. I mean, I had pulled boat trailers.
Like we literally signed the sale of our house, and from the meeting, he just drove to Albuquerque to go get the RV, and then the kids and I stayed at a house in our neighborhood.
And then we stayed at a RV park there in Austin for a week, and then we hit the road after that.
That's such a fun story, you saying that about how people thought you were crazy and you just stopped talking about it.
Everyone laughed at me. They're like, you won't last in an RV like a month. I give you a month.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, yes, I will.
Yeah. Like honestly, like all sets of our parents were thought the same thing, that it was a little bit crazy, and now every single one of them is like, they're beyond jealous of what we're doing, and they're like, man, I think it's the coolest thing. I think it's the coolest way to raise your kids. They love every bit of it, and they get to visit us in all these different places, which is pretty fun.
One of my favorite posts that you just did on Instagram was when you talked about how you struggled in school and how now you're working in the Keys. And I'm totally going to actually tag the post when we put this video up, because I love that so much. But just talk a little bit about that.
We've been like really blessed with the jobs opportunities that have popped up, especially for like first time work campers. It's introduced us to like, I feel like the most amazing people. And this job, I ended up making us like we had 1 month left and a ton of RV repairs on this RV to do after that long haul. So I made us like a couple's resume, and I just like kind of blasted it all over every work camp forum. And our boss that's here, she saw it and was like, I have a lifestyles director position and tech maintenance. And I was like, oh, that sounds perfect for us, because I feel like a lot of the work camp jobs I see don't have something necessarily that I can do with 2 kids with me. She called and we accepted the position.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we were still in Washington.
Yeah, when she called.
Yeah.
About coming starting anytime mid to November. And our RV was like, when we got the call, we were in a hotel because we had 3 blowouts, and our last blowout, the wheel fell off the RV and took off the back end of our RV.
Yeah.
So we're like, we have to make sure we can get our RV down there.
Yeah, we went like 2 years traveling without having a single problem, but it caused way more damage than I would have thought.
We were honestly like, maybe God's telling us we need to stop.
Yeah.
Like, it was so bad.
Yeah, I thought about that. I don't know if we should call it quits or if we need to finish this out, but we ended up finishing out, and it turned out awesome.
Well, our last blowout, like, there was a shutdown.
Yeah, there was only one way to get where we were going, and they had shut it down. There was a fatal accident, so they had shut down the freeway.
And we got separated from the crew, and she had the animals, so they can't sit in that hot temperature. They had to keep going, and our GPS wasn't rerouting us. We're just sitting on the side of the road, and this guy comes up, and he's like, so friendly, him and his wife.
Yeah.
He's like,
yeah, he says, you guys stuck in this accident? I was like, yeah, we're just trying to get to Nebraska. And he said, well, there's another way around. He's like, I'm local here. He's like, I could take you. And I was like, all right. I was like, well, I'm pulling my rig. I was like, that's our rig right there. He's like, oh no. He's like, so you guys will be good. It's through a mountain pass. And I was like, all right, man.
No, first I said, dude, like, is it big rig friendly? And he said semis have gone through this.
Yeah. But basically we end up following this guy through this mountain pass that was absolutely insane. Has the most like steepest
was not big rig friendly. We got a flat tire. Our truck was overheating. And this is when we were literally like, what are we doing?
Yeah. An awesome couple that like
they stuck with us. I think it ended up taking us 5 hours to get through this mountain that was supposed to be an hour. It was so bad. Like, we both like pulled over that night and we're like, what is happening?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I feel like that could be a whole book, just the things that happened on that mountain.
Yeah.
If you're like us, you might be dreaming about full-time RV life, but feeling like it could never happen for you. If you'd like to receive our 3 secrets to becoming a full-time RVer ASAP, go to whynotwander.com/secrets and enter your email address, and we will send it right to your inbox. So you're allowed to take your kids with you to work?
Yes. So I do the lifestyles director position. So I plan all the events. And then I can mostly do that from my computer in the RV. And then all the events, they're pretty like kid friendly, so they can come work with me. But on total here at this park, there's 12 children. The families working here.
Yeah, they just run around the RV park with all the other kids, having a good old time. Yeah, they think they own the place.
He'll take them out sometimes with him, like while he's working or doing the front loader.
Yeah, I do just all types of maintenance here. So it's just, we take out the fish boat, which is like everybody dumps their fish guts on this boat, and we got to take it out into the water and dump it all. Operate the front loader, fix all the lots. There's a number of things that we do, but a lot of this stuff I can take my son or my daughter with me, whoever. I'm doing some of this stuff, so it's definitely a child friendly work
job.
Yeah.
Like that's why I said I feel like I found the best position for being a stay-at-home mom that homeschools, because I have can kind of create the schedule for the park too. So I try to schedule things like if I do have to be in an event that goes later, it's usually he'll be off because he only right now has to work Monday through Thursday.
Yeah,
until
Monday through Thursday from 8 to 3:30.
Best schedule.
Yeah, it's a prime schedule. It's awesome.
That is so cool. That's just amazing. Would you say it's, from what you're seeing in the Keys and what you saw on the road, would you say it's easy to do this with kids?
It's an adjustment, but I feel like once you get down your little routine, it's almost hard to stop doing this with the kids.
Yeah,
because I don't know, they've asked us to stay here longer, and it's hard to think about not work camping and going back to a job where you need to commute and drop off and find sitters, where now we work right here and we can come home, eat, walk, there's no, it's hard to think.
Yeah, it is hard to think about going back to the normal 9 to 5 and the grind, but yeah, it is. I mean, once you find what works for you and you make those adjustments and you have your schedule down, I can't even think about going back.
I mean, our first 6 months were hard.
Mm-hmm.
It was I cried, Oakley cried, John was frustrated. I'm what did we do?
Yeah, definitely.
I hate homeschooling. My son hates homeschooling. And now it's I don't know, I can't picture it different.
Yeah, we get it. I mean, we didn't hit the road with kids, but I cried a lot. Even though it was a dream come true, I still cried a lot. It's an adjustment, like you said.
It is.
It's an adjustment.
Very tough parts to it too, and there's a lot of getting used to different things when you're traveling full time.
You pretty much answered it, but what else do you love about work camping?
I think the main thing is just being together, not commuting anywhere.
Meeting new people is awesome too. I mean, we've met so many cool people, and we've just learned a ton from everybody that we've met. I'd say that's been one of my biggest takeaways from doing it, and one of my favorite things is just the amount that we've learned and the amount that we've got to see.
I wish I would have thought about work camping right away, but I don't know. I love the work camping aspect. It gives us the opportunity to be somewhere like the Keys. A lot of these people are paying $4,000 to $5,000 a month just to be here, and that we get to be here and experience it. And I don't know.
And make a little bit of a living while we're doing it.
Work camping definitely won't make you rich.
Yeah,
that's something I think a lot of people are well, how do you live off that? But and when it's paying for your overhead and most of your bills.
Yeah, when you don't have really an overhead as far as your monthly mortgage or rent goes, when that's covered and your utilities are covered, and you're really just you just need spending money and grocery money and things, then it works out. So I mean, if you don't have a huge overhead, it's a great way to live.
Yeah, we hear that time and time again, that you can make, I think one of our podcasts, they said you can make $12,000, or it would have cost $12,000, but they got to live there for free for 5 months, experience that local area. I mean, you just can't get that anywhere else.
And I like that work camping. I know when we first got on the road, we were so excited to hit all the spots and just go. Yeah. And I think I like that it's made us kind of slow down. It's nice to be able to experience actually live and experience the different places that work camping. I think gives you that opportunity.
That's definitely one of our favorite things too. I get stressed out when we're going from one work camping job to the next and we have to travel every few days, or sometimes I'm even stressed every week if we're traveling, because it's like I don't enjoy the packing up the whole process every couple of days. It's just, and then he loves to set up the RV so that it feels like home every time we stop at a place. And I'm just like, I don't want to go through all of that to go just for a couple of days.
Yeah.
So we really like being settled in one place too.
So flip side, what is your least favorite part of work camping?
I guess it would be the in between. That's the worst part of it. Is like when you said when you gotta load up and move and set up again, and then
for us it's the repair list.
Yeah,
I think right now we have like so many little things.
Yeah,
that it's fine because we're stationary, but when we move, it's like
got to be addressed, you know.
And then I think like starting the new work, like at the end of the season and finding the next job, being the new person for the next few months, sometimes I don't know. Yeah. I don't love that part.
It's always kind of stressful. Like, being starting a new job in general is always kind of stressful, or you kind of get anxious, I guess.
We've talked about that many times on different videos we've done, that we face the same thing. For me, I'm a serious introvert. The adjustment period for me in a place is very high, getting used to the people that I'm around. And for him, he's like, just tell me what to do, because we've had some places that are just so free-spirited. And he's like, no, I need to know exactly what you expect of me.
Once I know those, I'm good. I just want to know what you expect of me.
Yeah.
Need direction. Yeah, you need expectations.
So Florida's kind of obvious how you decide where you want to go next, but how will you decide for your next job?
I feel like we've been just like so winging it.
Yeah.
And we just keep getting pulled back to Florida.
We do, yeah. Not on purpose at all.
Not on purpose at all. This is actually the one state he said he would never want to live.
I don't know. I just picture Florida as a huge swamp, you know, and like I never pictured myself living here. I like the cold and I love snow. And
we haven't decided if we're gonna stick it out through the summer here. We're both a little bit nervous, then we're nervous to like lose like such a good fit for our family at the same time that we're in right now. But I was applying for like Jackson Hole, and I did look at Yellowstone jobs, and a couple of them said we're having issues because our kids are younger. So we were trying to find something like to switch it up, like more in the trees or the mountains, or that's what we wanted to do next.
Mm-hmm. We don't ever plan too far ahead, but that's worked out for us. So I mean, I guess that's the reason we keep it that way. It's because it's always worked out for the best.
Our fallout plan is always just going back to the house in Fort Myers, and he would remodel.
There's a ton of that work everywhere, so
that's always our like backup plan.
Do you still do the insurance adjusting, or could you go back to that?
I would just have to renew my license, and then I could get into it again, which is a great feel, especially for traveling families. I don't know if you guys have met couples that do that, but we've met quite a few couples that do the insurance adjusting and that do it together as well. And they meet up with other couples, and they kind of all go at it as a team. So I think that's also a great option for traveling families.
Yeah, I don't know a lot about it, so do you mind sharing? Because I love learning about that kind of stuff.
Basically, if you're doing it as a traveling family, you would be what's called like an emergency adjuster. So there's different names for it. Some people know it as like storm chasers and stuff, where like they're chasing natural disasters, which is kind of tough because you're going into spots that have just been hit by a major hurricane or by tornadoes or whatever it is. So you're going into these spots. Usually they're staying somewhat close to it, you know, but they're not staying right in it. But you go in and spend however long there going out doing adjustments. You get hired on by different insurance companies.
You're like a private contractor.
Yeah, basically.
Almost.
Mm-hmm.
And like a few of them had said like it gets easier once you make more connections. So we actually went to, when we like 6 months into RVing, we went to like a rally with a bunch of other RVers, and I think that's like really what kind of helped light our fire to keep RVing and pursue like different
we got to meet
routes to make it work, because we got to meet so many other families and relate to them. That was probably one of my favorite things.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
It made us feel not so alone too, like we weren't so crazy.
Yeah,
like,
there were other families that were crazy
families,
enough to give it a try.
That's really cool.
Yeah, they did like a day where they told us all like how they make money, and there was like social media, insurance. I think someone sold coffee or something.
A lot of different, a lot of different jobs.
Yeah.
Was that a full-time families rally?
Yeah.
Okay. Very cool.
And I didn't really know that much about work camping, really. I mean, we didn't know anything about RVing either. Yeah. So I think the main question I get asked with the kids is how to work camp with kids and how do they homeschool.
And that's like one of the cool things too. I mean, with the homeschooling is like the different spots that we've got to focus on different focal points of, I guess, their education. Like, I mean, like the marine life out here, especially in the Keys, is like something we focused on a lot with our son Oakley. I don't know, just like learning the different aquatic life out here, and taking him out fishing and actually catching the fish that he's learning about is like, I don't know, it's the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, I think it starts to work easier for people once you, like, I know for me at first I really struggled with, like, I thought I had to copycat, like, what he would be doing in school. And so it was it was just, that's not how we do it at all anymore. But it took like a while to be like, okay, it's okay to do it.
Yeah.
To find your own routine and to do it different. He doesn't need to sit in front of a schoolwork for 6 hours. Like, we usually finish his work in 30 minutes to an hour on a core subject. And then we spend the rest of the day learning about fish or whatever, you know, hiking.
Yeah, unschooling is the way to go.
Yeah. But I think like that's the hardest part for work camping. New families probably is learning how to make those new routines and adjustments.
Yeah, for sure. So if you had to say one thing that surprised you guys about work camping, what would that be?
I guess just the amount of opportunities that there are for work camping. Like she had said before, I had, like, when we first started RVing, I didn't even know that was an option. Like, I didn't even know that was like a thing that people did. I guess just the amount of opportunities that you can find. I feel like if you really want to do it, there's opportunities for anybody.
I didn't realize how much we were going to love it and how hard it was going to be to go back to not doing this.
Yeah.
We did go through a phase where like, man, I want out of the RV, but that was when he was PMing, and it was really hard trying to squeeze our RV into like different Florida parks that fit that job. That was frustrating. But once we started to be able to find work camping jobs and jobs that like kind of fit our lifestyle, it made it hard to want to give up this lifestyle.
Yeah, that's cool to hear.
There are times where I'm like, I don't know if it's time that I start looking at a career again or looking at the long term.
We get those lectures from our parents a lot too. Yeah. Like, okay, like especially like even Oakley just breaking his leg right now. Like, we're paying out of pocket for all that.
Yeah, but we don't have insurance. And it's true. We definitely do have to plan ahead somewhat. But I mean, there's different options for that. Whether it's investing in property, and you know, whatever it is, there's other ways of doing it. So we're still just, I guess, trying to figure out what it is for us.
So what would your number one tip be for folks who want to get into work camping? What would you tell them?
I don't know. I would just say start joining all the Facebook work camping groups. That's where I've personally found everything. And then just kind of thinking outside the box if there's any other, I mean, some of these jobs, they're not what you would typically want to do, maybe, or what you pictured doing.
I don't know, like maintenance isn't my like first choice as a job, but I mean, it's like, I don't know. I have a blast working with the people that I work with. We have an awesome team, and I've learned a ton doing it. And I mean, I'm in the Keys every day. I mean, it's a
trade. So work camping is like such a
definitely
trade.
A trade. Yeah.
I think that's a big thing. I think a lot of people just look for like a certain job. And if you can be like kind of flexible, especially in this knowing it's just a season, you know, if you don't like it, you can try another.
Very, very true. We were wanting to winter in Florida. That was been our dream for so many years. And we ended up finding a place where I would clean bathrooms and he would be the ranger, where he would essentially,
security, basically.
Yeah. I was like, I'm willing to clean bathrooms to live in Florida for the winter. I mean, we've grown up in Michigan our whole lives. Right. So it's totally a trade, but worth every bit of it to be able to live for free in Florida.
Yeah. And it's really usually not as bad as like you think it's going to be for the most part. Usually, I mean, I don't know. We've been really fortunate.
Yeah, we've been lucky.
But
I mean, like we said, this is our second time doing it, and our I feel like the first one wasn't a typical work camping job. But I mean, I would keep doing this for as long as I can and as long as it works for us.
I would do the first job again if we had a smaller rig.
I wondered, I was totally going to ask you that. So you would, huh? Even all of the moving around.
While we were doing it, if you would have asked her, she definitely would have said no. Now she misses it a little bit.
Like even the girls we worked with, they're like, in 6 months, you're going to look back and say, this wasn't as bad as it was. And you call me and I'm going to slap you.
Yeah. And she's going to be like, we're going to remind you how terrible this was. But it is crazy because, like, I don't know, a few weeks after we were done doing it, we're like, we missed it. Like,
we're like, wow, we did that.
We missed the chaos of it. We missed the fast paced living and traveling, and I don't know. So yeah.
But there were days. I mean, our kids were troopers. There were days at the fairs where we did work 12 hours. Days.
We'd work 8 to 8. And,
and it was a lot. But then at the same time, like my daughter, even working that long, we had to pry her out of the
petting zoo. Yeah,
she just would sit in there with all the baby goats.
Yeah,
and
all day, wouldn't move. She would.
So, and it was like their jobs to do the bottle feeding. So I don't know, memories like that made it worth it.
Definitely,
absolutely. So switching over to full-time RV life, if you had to say what would be your least favorite thing?
I'm super scared of mold. We've had no mold, but like I have this like giant fear that every soft spot I feel has mold. Yeah. And like
like I mean
the blowouts.
Yeah, the blowouts.
So just
maintenance in general on the RVs. Yeah, and she is like super paranoid about leaks, and like like there's sometimes where water will get in on the slides, whether it's on the rails of the slides, whatever it is. She'll feel like a little bit of a wet spot and be like, "Oh, we gotta tear this whole slide apart. It's leaking everywhere." Like she gets so yeah. That's a tough part. But
I just made him tear out our bathroom.
Yeah.
And I've messed up all the measurements.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys have remodeled anything in the RV or if you guys have kind of tackled those projects, but it's a pain in the butt. It's like just trying to work in these tight spaces. Everything's built so cheaply in the RVs. Like, I mean, you learn that being in an RV. They're awesome and they're a lot of fun, but they're not built to really last and to travel around everywhere. So I mean, maintenance and upkeep on the RV can be tough sometimes.
Okay, so just reading one of the things that you wrote that you faced on the road, which you've talked about a little in this podcast, but you said 4 blowouts, a 10-hour detour, a lost underbelly, a broken freshwater tank, and so much more. Yet through it all, we never lost our cool. And what is your secret to not losing your cool?
Honestly, I don't even know. I think we were like in just finally a good spot with like, we were doing our Bible studies, we were praying, we were really working on our patience. I think a couple times where we were just like sat there like we were in such shock. Like,
I guess
like we didn't even know how to feel.
Yeah.
It's just like
I guess, and she's right. I mean, a ton of it has to do with, I mean, our faith and I guess putting our faith in the Lord and knowing that, I mean, whatever it is, I mean, we have an amazing life. Whatever we're going through, we have one of the most amazing lives. We have such an awesome family. I
mean, and I think even our kids were like, "Oh, another blowout!"
Yeah,
and I'm like, "Wow, that shouldn't be. I mean, that shows good. Like they think it's just a normal, happy day still when we're like."
Yeah.
So I just think I was like, that really to me just reflected how he kept his cool, like still having to deal with changing the tires and doing all that our kids were like,
and that is also a part of it, is you don't want your kids to worry and to know how crazy of a life it is that they're living. So I guess you kind of try to keep it cool for them too,
And every time something crazy did happen, like I do felt like we were like protected and guided. Like there was always someone who pulled over almost every time.
When you're on the road, you realize that there's still really a lot of good people out there, and a lot of people willing to lend a hand when it's needed.
And we did learn. So like when we first hit the road, I didn't really know like our side. did put us in a couple of parks that were too small. And we ended up like tearing the side of our roof at one point. And we redid our roof, and we had them change our tires. They put the wrong ply.
Well, we didn't have a heavy enough tire. It's basically if you have a big enough rig, then you need to get, I would say if you have a 38 or bigger rig and you're traveling a lot, to get a 14 ply tire, get the all steel tires.
But we didn't know. We just like trusted them to like, upgrade our tires. So that was part of the big issue of our tires blowing out.
We just had a low grade tire on there.
So tell us where we can find you on social media.
Roze Family Wanders. We're on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook.
Awesome. We'll drop a link below for that.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for listening to the Work Camping with Why Not Wander podcast.
You can see today's show notes at whynotwander.com/podcast. And if you haven't done so already, please sign up to receive regular updates from us, along with special discounts at whynotwander.com/updates.